Welcome to another edition of Chart Talk. I'm Tony Ogorek. I am here with Portfolio Manager Jeff Viksjo. And Jeff, today we're going to be talking inflation and our perception that today's inflation is not your father's inflation. So we've got three charts. Let's take a look at the first chart. What do we see here?
Yeah, this chart just asks consumers, are you aware of what's going on with higher prices? You can see that red bar at the far right, that's today, and they're saying, of course I'm aware. I know what's going on. Prices are rising at an extremely high rate. We haven't seen this higher rate since just after the great financial crisis, when there was concern about inflation as well. There also was a lot of government spending at that time. But clearly right now, everyone's aware of what's going on.
Sure. And Jeff, you see midterm elections and politicians are using this as a cudgel to beat the party in power, and you've got a lot of media out there just drawing a lot of attention to inflation. So let's take a look at our second chart. Interesting, this takes a look at the inflation rate from 1980, which was inflation was at its zenith, to where we are today, and sort of an interesting picture, don't you think?
Yeah, and if you lived during that time, 1980, you owned a home, you bought furniture, everything that was going on, energy prices, you were very aware of inflation, and that probably that experience stayed with you for a while. But if you look at the chart, inflation got very low and it stayed there for a long time. And so you got kind of you're not used to it anymore. You're not used to going to the grocery store and seeing prices go up. And so all of a sudden we've seen this, post-COVID bump, but this is new for consumers to see something like this.
Sure. And let's take a look at our final chart. We didn't have Google back in the 70s and 80s, but here, we're looking at citations in books, and we're seeing that, inflation, the frequency of the appearance of inflation in books and searches was really, really considerably higher than it is today. And then when you go into the brown area with the brown bars, you're seeing that that's when Google came out, and you're seeing that the searches for inflation continue to come down because it hasn't been an issue. Now, with the Fed dropping rates dramatically with their quantitative easing and just dropping rates down to zero, and you're seeing the federal government over both administrations adding perhaps $6 trillion to the money supply and spending, deficit spending, you're seeing that inflation just has rocketed up. Our thesis is that this inflation is not, a significant part of the economy. It's going to be dealt with relatively quickly. It hasn't been embedded for decades as it was in the 70s and 80s. And therefore, the inflationary expectations are going to be a little bit easier to mute by the Fed. So thank you for joining us for this edition of Chart Talk. We look forward to seeing you at our next talk.